You're listening to Power Pearls Podcast, where it's all about empowering your knits and pearls. My name is Kara Warner, life coach and host of the show, and I help women to be more intuitive, navigate time management, and understand how mindset plays a crucial role in confidence and creative transformation. If you've been struggling in a certain area, I just want you to know that I'm here to help. So maybe you're seeking more creative confidence, or you struggle with your time and how to use it to your benefit. Or maybe you just want to feel better. So here's what I'd like to offer you. I'd love for you to get some clarity on what keeps you from reaching your potential. So I'd like to invite you to apply for a free consultation with me to finally get that clarity and direction you'd like. As a life coach, I help give you awareness to get to the root of whatever you're struggling with. And once you gain that awareness, it acts like the jet fuel for achievement in every area of your life. To experience the clarity of mind you seek, set up a call with me today, and all you need to do is go to karagotwarner.com and click the link Work with Kara at the top of the page. Okay, on to the episode. Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Kara Warner, and I am a passionate knitter, mom, wife, life and business coach, and host of Power Pearls podcast. And I help women to become more intuitive and discover the magic of mindset and how it can be the launch pad for your creative confidence and lifestyle evolution. So today I am super excited to introduce my special guest, Grace Akhrem. Welcome, Grace.
Hi.
So nice to have you. So this is the live edition of Power Pearls podcast. So I'm super excited that you could join me because we're going to be talking about a special knit-along that you have going on. But before we do that, I'm going to pop into the comments. I know people are just coming into the room, and but I'm going to ask you guys to pop into the comments, share where you're from, say hello, just a quick hello, and what you hope to get out of being here today. And I'm going to go back and ask you those questions again as we move through this. So I'm just going to give you guys a few minutes to do that. So it's really early for you, Grace, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty early right now.
Oh my goodness.
But it's okay. I had to wake up at some point today. So,
yeah, just making sure we can hear the sound. All right. Ooh, yep. I always have to do that for some reason, making sure that we have everything working, or I get really nervous. Okay. So we have a couple of people popping into the room already. I see Virginia. Hello. Sneaking in a break at work. So nice to see you. That's awesome. Okay. So you guys, please hop into the comments. Let me know why you're here today. What do you hope to get out of this? Maybe even think about some questions that you want to ask Grace. So we might put her on the spot a little bit. So anyway, so it's time to pop into the comments and let us know who you are. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the mic over to you, Grace, so you can share a little bit about yourself and your knitting journey.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me on today. That was very sweet of you. So I started knitting I'm actually not going to tell you how old I was, but it was about 15 years ago. Or no, it was in 2003. So I don't know. Oh my gosh, it's maybe a little bit longer than that. Okay. Whew. And it just kind of evolved from there. I didn't really know that patterns existed, and I would just write everything that I did down. And at some point I started working for a shop, and they started publishing my work, and things just kind of evolved. So then I got picked up by a pattern distributor, which is actually how I met you.
I know. I didn't know if you remembered that. I was like,
no, of course.
I wonder if she remembers. Cool.
And then things just grew from there. So, I started teaching nationally, and here we are today. That's just the short and sweet of it.
Short, yeah. Like I remember that when you came into the, what was it?
Deep South Fibers.
Deep South Fibers, right?
Yeah.
You came
I'm still with them, actually.
Are you really?
Yeah. It's changed a lot, since, Ravelry came on, it kind of changed the game for everybody. So, you had to just kind of evolve. And so Deep South Fibers evolved. And now they actually offer Ravelry pattern download codes on their hard copy pattern. So that way shops can still, sell a hard copy, but the users don't miss out on having it in their library, which I think is actually a really smart idea.
That is really smart, because it's about kind of changing with the, landscape, so that's really smart that they did that. So we have, a short time with each other. So I'm going to try to get straight to the point because I can get really chatty. I don't know about you, but I want to shift gears and I want to talk about the mystery knit-along that you have going on. It's a shawl, right?
It is a shawl. That's all I'm telling people.
That's all you're telling. Now, can you share, because there might be people here that I know this is crazy, but I've done many knit-alongs and I've hosted knit-alongs myself, but I've never done a mystery knit-along. So can you just share for anyone that is unsure, what is a mystery knit-along and what is the one that you're hosting? What is it all about and how does it work?
Yeah, sure. So let's just talk about what a knit-along is first. It's when a bunch of different people knit the same project at the same time. So you could have different yarns or it could all be the same yarn, but it's all the same Sorry, I don't know if my lighting is going in and out, but it's all the same pattern and we're all knitting it together. So mystery knit-along is the same concept. However, you don't actually know what you're knitting. In this case, I did tell everyone that it's a shawl, but you don't know what it looks like. And the only clues I've given you before the mystery knit-along started, which was this past Friday, are the types of yarns that you'll need. So I'm actually using Emma's yarn, 2 of their yarns. I'm using a DK weight and one of their mohairs.
So for those of you, I see more of you guys are coming into the room. I do apologize. Just letting you know that Grace had some issues with her internet and we lost her. She froze up. So she will be back in a moment. And in the meantime, I would like to ask you guys, if you're just joining me, to pop into the comments. Say, why are you here? Share a quick hello. And what do you hope to get out of being on this live video with us today? And you're going to want to keep on watching until the end because Grace has something very special for you guys, for the live viewers. And by the way, if you are listening to the podcast in the future, because I'm always thinking about the future too, which is crazy, right? Podcast listeners, there'll also be something else there for you guys as well. But for live viewers, Grace has something special at the end. So I also see Gina has just come into the room. The kits are 3 solid colors with DK and mohair in each color. So yeah, Virginia, if you go to Ravelry, and I shared that in my email this morning, and I think that maybe we can, hi, Grace is back. Yay.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
Well, and I was going to suggest, it's no worries now because it's, we'll just go with it. But if you're on your computer, it's good to hardwire yourself if you can, like with an Ethernet cable to your modem. If that's just too over your head right now, don't worry about it. But that's why I was able to keep the party going because I'm hardwired. Believe me, I learned from experience that it's, this whole technology thing stinks. So anyway, I just circled back into the comments, asked people, why they're here, quick hello. And you were sharing, just to pick up where you left off for anyone watching. You were showing off the yarns and then you froze and you were talking about, just what weight yarns, what you're using so that we can sort of, just give a little hint. Could you just share that again really quick? Because you kind of froze in the middle of
Yes,
that.
Of course. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. So you actually use 2 different kinds of yarns and you hold them together and then you hold them separately. So you've got the DK weight which I'm in love with, and I love their colors. And the Simply Spectacular. Oh, sorry, this is Simply Spectacular DK. This one is Marvelous Mohair. And so the whole shawl itself, it's called the Modern Hygge shawl. It's a play on texture mostly, and so there are times where you hold the two yarns together. There are times where you hold the mohair on its own. There are sometimes where you double the mohair on itself, and so within that texture alone, then we play with stitching texture as well.
So did you already
fun little
say, I think when you got cut off, I'm not sure if you explained, like, how does it work? So they sign up, like, can you just kind of walk us through the paces?
Sure.
Maybe
sorry about that.
Because there's some questions coming through and I'm going to circle back to the comments, but what is the process? Like from start, when they start, how does the mystery of it all work?
So you go on Ravelry and you purchase the pattern, the Modern Hygge shawl. And so right now, Clue 1 has already been released. And so what that means is that you actually just get the first section of the pattern. You want to make sure that you add it to your Ravelry library when you purchase it so that it's automatically updated when I send out the next clue, which will be this Friday. So every Friday for the next for 4 more weeks, 4 or 5 more weeks.
Wow.
4 more weeks, you get a clue. And so each clue is another section of the pattern. At the end of the mystery knit-along, you'll have a complete pattern. And then the following week is when you'll get the final, like, pretty version of the pattern with the photography and everything. So right now, all you're getting is like gauge and everything that you just essentially need to get the pattern started, plus the first clue.
Awesome.
And it's very exciting. And we have a Ravelry group dedicated. Well, my Ravelry group, we have a thread in there dedicated to, discussing the cowl and sharing pictures. So there's like a spoilers thread, and then there's a no spoilers thread. So you can, if you don't want anyone to spoil what it looks like for you until you get to finish the clue, then you can go on one thread or the other.
Oh, that's so exciting. I can't wait to see the finished look. Oh my goodness. So I see a lot of comments coming through because there was a question about if you could use like multicolored yarns too, but I'm going to just kind of hop in here. So is that possible, Grace? Virginia asks, for the knit-along, what yarn is a better choice, solid or multi? But I guess I'm thinking in terms of like maybe this could be, if someone wanted to use multicolored, could they? Or what do you think?
I would say, there are some stitch work that doesn't really lend itself well to multicolored yarns. Like, for example, there's a little bit of lace in there, not a terrible crazy amount, but there's enough. I would say I have the colors broken down. It's A through, I think, G, and G just means like mohair doubled onto itself and things like that. I would say the only yarn that lends itself well to a variegated would probably be A. Okay. So if you're going to use a multicolored, maybe just narrow it down to one and then try to go solid, semi-solid for the other two.
Okay, good advice. So Gina says the kits, she's confirming this. Thank you, Gina. The kits are 3 solid colors with a DK and a mohair in each color. And I see Patricia's here. Hello, Patricia. Nice to see you. And then Gina says, hello, I'm doing the MKAL yarn. The yarns are gorgeous. And clue number 1 is working up great. The fabric is beautiful. Yay! That's good. Yay. Thanks for sharing that, Gina. This is great. Yeah. And then Sue says, even though I have about 5 works in progress going on during quarantine, I am intrigued by this mystery knit-along. Way to go, Sue. Go for it, girlfriend.
Yeah,
and Yolanda,
it's fun.
Yeah. So I thought of this. I thought this was like a fun little thing, kind of to get a little woo-woo, because that's what I do. But how do you see a mystery knit-along? Kind of like a metaphor for the uncertainty in the world right now. Or do you? Maybe you don't. But I just thought maybe that would be a really good way to dive into this a little bit.
I didn't think about it, but when you shared that question with me, I couldn't help but laugh because it's kind of spot on right now. We just don't know, and I guess, I've never done a mystery knit-along, but part of me wants to, it's a time thing and I just don't have enough But I feel like it would be almost liberating to kind of give up control. And maybe that's kind of what this is. During this quarantine, I've kind of just accepted, we've actually been in quarantine a week longer than the state has been in quarantine, just because we just chose to not put ourselves at further risk. And so, it's just one of those things that we've just embraced. And I think it's one of those things you just have to kind of just embrace it and just go with the flow. And
yeah, totally. Yeah. And that's what it is. I mean, there's a quote that I absolutely love. It's a Rumi quote. He was like a Sufi poet. And it goes like this: cultivate not knowing. I love that. I don't know what it is about those words strung together, but it's just like this idea of being okay with not knowing what's coming next. And I think the idea, I know for myself, and I think this is why I have never done a mystery knit along, is because I want to know. I want control. But sometimes it's really good. It's so good. It's so healthy for us to not know what's next. Don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's also just kind of a metaphor for life. We can have plans as much as we want, and life can throw something crazy at you. So Absolutely. Even though you think you might know what's next, there's no guarantee.
Absolutely. So you talked a little about the yarns. You mentioned, what's the yarn company that these are from again, just so that in case anyone missed that when we lost you.
Yeah, it's Emma's Yarn.
Emma's Yarn.
Emma's Yarn, and their tagline is "Crazy Beautiful Color."
Oh, cool!
And so, actually, this yarn, it's a fun little story behind this yarn. So, it's two girls that own this yarn company. One's in college, one's in high school. One of them is named Emma, and their mother owns a yarn shop in Florida. I'm blanking on the city, but it's somewhere in Florida. And they started dyeing yarn for the store, and then it kind of blew up, and now they are selling across the country. And so that's actually how this whole thing started. Was I was going to teach at the shop for Pearls, and Laura, the owner, asked me if I would design something using their yarn. And so that's kind of how this whole thing evolved.
So the yarn shop is called For Pearls, right? I think they have they have a website, and I was looking them up here on Facebook. And
For Pearls Yarn Shop.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And you can actually get their yarn anywhere on the Emma's Yarn website, which I think is just emmasyarn.com.
Oh, good.
They have a stockists page, and so you can shop by state.
Yeah. Great. So can anyone join it? I know you started a couple of days ago, but I know this is a concern for a lot of people, and they might think, oh, it's already started and I can't, can they start now and just kind of, is it like, almost like a circle, you can just pick up and just, catch up a little bit, but just keep on going. Like, is there an end date? Is it, because we're talking about this obviously now, because I know that you think it's, you're totally down with anyone joining right now. It's totally fine. So talk a little bit about that. Yeah,
well, the first clue, I designed it so that it, it's not too intimidating. I think a lot of people already finished it by Saturday or yesterday, and had only been out for 24 hours. So I would say yes, absolutely. Join now, and then join whenever you want, because it's, even if some of the mystery is like uncovered for you, even if it's just clue one, you still don't really know what the shawl looks like. Or you can just avoid all spoilers altogether. Just go grab the pattern. Don't look on your way out, and just get started. It's you have options, but it's never too late to join. Because once finished with the mystery knit along, the pattern's going to go up live anyway. So, you can knit the pattern then.
Yeah.
But it's never too late.
It's never too late. And so it's on Ravelry, right? So if people go, what's your handle? Do they call it a handle on Ravelry?
Grace Akhrem.
Grace Akhrem, right?
AKH.
So, all right, awesome. And so you guys get all those details there. All your questions will be answered. But before we wrap up, because this is a short and sweet live video, what you have something special to share with the live viewers only, Grace. So, and don't worry, podcast listeners, we have something for you too. But for showing up here live today, what is the little special thing that you're going to do for everybody, Grace?
I'm actually giving out a coupon for everyone listening today. So the coupon code, it's good for Ravelry only. It's good for 15% off all my patterns, and except for the modern Hugo shawl, because that one I can't discount since everyone bought it at full price. And it's good until tomorrow, Pacific time, so until midnight.
All right.
The code is Kara Rocks.
Kara Rocks. You guys, I'll put that in the comments, okay? But it's going to expire. So for those of you guys watching live, or maybe you come in on the replay tonight or something, that'll be fine too. Otherwise, podcast listeners, if you're listening to this later, just keep listening, because I'm going to share the code with you guys in a little bit. So Grace, this was awesome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So quickly, can you just really quick, where can people find you? Maybe a quick plug about your website, maybe on Instagram. Like, where's the best place that people can find you and interact?
Yes, I am Grace Akhrem across the board. So anywhere you go, Facebook, Instagram, Ravelry, my website, it's all just Grace Akhrem. It's graceakhrem.com, at Grace Akhrem. All my pages are Grace Akhrem. So if you want, wherever you want to find me, actually my website is probably the best way to find me, because from there you can find me everywhere. So just graceakhrem.com, GraceAkhrem.com.
Yay. That's great. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate it. This was so much fun. And everybody watching, so nice. See you guys next time. Okay. Bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed my chat with Grace. So for those of you listening to the podcast, if you weren't able to watch us live, here is a special gift that Grace would like to extend to you as a podcast listener. For a limited time only, she's offering buy one, get one free on any pattern in her Ravelry shop. And all you need to do is enter Power Pearls, and that's one word, no space between power and pearls. So enter Power Pearls at checkout. All right, you guys, that's it. And thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.